the dark of the moon for June 2021. First of all, I typically do these dark of the moon in circle live with whoever wants to attend, as well as having it recorded for others to tune in later. However, today it's a pre-recorded, and thank you for your understanding, as today is the anniversary of my mother's passing last summer on this day, and my family will be gathering to celebrate her memory. So I want to sit with you and allow the shifts and expansion and depth of the dark of this new moon to fill us and expand us and remind us that we are such beautifully complex beings. As I was meditating this morning, what came to me was what I have been trying to do for the last several months, I believe, in this semi-languishing state of not being like full on and not really in depression, but there's this kind of day-to-day, sometimes going through the motions energy. And what I've been realizing is that there's a resistance to change. There's so much change going on in our world right now that I can numb myself to it, like constrict and steel myself to keep it from to feeling like buffeted, like we're on a boat that's being tossed around on some pretty high stormy seas. And sometimes we hold ourselves so tightly to absorb the shock that we're actually hurting more. And let me see if I can explain that a little bit. We're going to go into a centering in a few minutes and why this centering is so important. And part of it is with the past year and a half or a little over a year of intense change, of unknowns, of grief, of heaviness, of lockdown, of social distancing, all of these different new ways of living, we have found our own ways to be with that, whether it be numbing. Many people numbed through food, comfort food, or drinking, or other forms of entertainment that may not have been the most well, we felt like it was comforting, but it could have been also alleviating the feeling of the fear or the uncertainty and a general lack of control. We have no idea. So I'll speak for myself, who loves to control and have an idea of where I'm going and how I'm going to get there, this has put me into a state of feeling like I'm in the back seat. I'm not driving. Do I trust where we're going? Sometimes not. Sometimes I just want to know where we're going. And I'm wondering if any of this is resonant to you. And here I am on a daily basis calling forth change and renewal and rejuvenation and growth and expansion. And yet so much of my system is still on lockdown. Not really fully open to what I'm calling in, which keeps me in a protected state, which also pushes away everything that I'm calling in. And I'm sitting here next to an open window, so please accept my apologies for the airplanes flying over. Again, that's another thing that's changing. So much more openness to our travel and our willingness to go out and experience. And are we doing that? Getting busy so that we don't have to sit with all of the feelings? I'm just asking. I don't know. I especially don't know you. Don't know what you're experiencing. I can only speak for myself. So that being said, let's drop in. Let's begin in a centering where we allow and welcome everything that is. All that we're feeling and sensing and noticing, and making space. Opening and softening. And breathing deeply all the way down into our bellies so that we can even open and soften more. And as we get present, see if you can't find another space where you might be holding yourself with tension. Key suspects would be jaws, the space between your eyes, our hips, our stomach, our shoulders, even our feet. Allow them to just open and like melt into the floor. And as we allow our breath to slow and deepen, and our bodies to soften and open, we actually make space. Make space for the love that we are as well. We actually make space for what do we want to create? For hope, for inspiration. We make space to listen. And for innovation. For something new and something beautiful that is just waiting for us to see it, to allow it, to be it. And then following that spaciousness, see if you can't see in the center of this temple of presence, of potential, your throne. And this is way back and down and in your lower belly, in the space between your hips. And if you're anything like me, I'm very forward-leaning and anticipation mode. Even my top 5 strengths have strategic and futuristic in them. So I'm a lot of times out and in front of me, in front of myself. So I just gently and calmly gather that energy that's in front of me and bring it back and in and down, allowing my spine to be straight in that beautiful column of connection that we have that goes all the way to the stars and all the way down, being held by the Earth star. And this is where we listen. This is where our majesty allows us to just listen. And see what your body is asking. What does our body need right now? What does our body want? What can we do more of to help this beautiful body thrive? And then we want to ask, what does our mind need to gently open and expand and use both sides of the brain so that we are seeing in all directions, not just what is wrong, what needs to be fixed, what needs to be put back together, but what else is possible? How do we fit into the world? How do we want our relationships to be? Allowing the creative and the innovative to be on tap with the problem solving. Thank you, mind, and our hearts. Where can we love more? Where are we being called to love more? Where are we afraid to love more? And what's at risk if we did love more? And may our awareness allow there to be more space for that love to come through, for self, for others, for the world. And what is our soul asking? And this is where all of these beautiful questions are part of the sacred success that I, as a divine designed human being, have a right to play with, to create, to live with. What is sacred success asking of me, of this new moon, of what I want to create and who I want to be and how I want to contribute? So these are my musings. There's lots of questions. So what I'm going to do, and I suggest maybe could be supportive for you as well, is to listen to this recording again, pause it in some places, and sit with the question or journal with the question. Or ask the question of my favorite tree or the sky, and then take a few minutes to listen. Listen with an open heart, open ears, open mind, open eyes, and a soft and unconstricted body. Fully embodying the listening. So many blessings, and may you walk with grace and beauty through this new moon and into the solstice that's coming in a few weeks. It's a big time. Not only is the world opening in many ways after being shut or shuttered during the pandemic, but now we are opening. And how can we do so with limited fear driving us and more love behind the wheel. Thank you for being here and for being you. Take excellent care.